Hello, everyone. My name is Danny, and this review is for Spinning Man. Spinning Man. When a 17-year-old girl goes missing, family man and distinguished college professor Evan Birch's life is turned upside down as circumstantial evidence convinces gruff Detective Malloy that Birch is a prime suspect. As Malloy begins to peel back the layers of Birch's past indiscretions with female students, and Birch's wife begins to question his alibi, Birch's life starts to unravel, and suddenly the questions that he faces aren't merely academic, they're a matter of life and death. This is a 2018 film. It is rated R, and it runs 100 minutes. This stars Guy Pearce, Pierce Brosnan, and Minnie Driver. Get to the notes. This has a weird beginning. It starts out with a scene that we find out comes near the end of the movie. It starts with that. And then it goes, I think it's 15 days in the past. It's like, okay, precursor, then a rewind, and then back to real time. So it's kind of confusing. I wasn't really into it. I was like, good thing I was actually paying attention, because if you watch this movie and you're not paying attention at the beginning, if you're not like sitting down staring at the TV, you're gonna miss like the most important part. It's at the beginning there. So yeah, it's a different way to start a movie, but if people aren't paying attention, they're not gonna get it. So I appreciate the build-up of this movie. You know, we've had movies like Gone Girl, The Girl on the Train, et cetera, et cetera. Good mysteries, good murder mysteries, wondering who done it, kind of a thing. And so this is in that category, and it has great actors, and it has good mystery. And so there's great build-up. There's this girl missing. There are signs of her everywhere. There are some scenes that, just shows people driving in a car or walking on a beach. There's signs on the bus bench. There's signs behind the lifeguard post. There's just signs everywhere. And it gets this guy, since he's under scrutiny that he might have done it, that, every time he sees a sign, it kind of thinks back in his mind and stuff. So it's good mystery. It's good build-up. And, it's just like those other movies I mentioned. It's tense the whole time. And so you have to be enthralled with this movie because you have to know what happens at the end. It has that good effect to it. And then we get into the kind of confusing stuff. So, Guy's character is dealing with forgetfulness. And so, he's a smart guy. He's a professor of a college. And he has lines, I can't remember what I did yesterday, or I can't remember that long ago, or, I'll tell you my version of what I remember. Just it goes on and on, that he just has a memory problem and he can't remember anything and blah, blah, blah. Well, my personal opinion of watching this movie is every single time he says that, he's literally trying to not lie to the person. Like, he's using his words, since that's what he teaches, is all about words. He's using the right words to tell you that he's not going to tell you the truth, but he's not lying. He's not going to get caught lying. So it's a really smart movie that way. I don't know if that's what everybody's going to get out of this movie. They're just going to be confused and leave it at that. But I tried to think about this. I tried to absorb it. And I really think it's smart the way that they play it. Because he obviously, I think, remembers everything. He knows what he did and here and there and there and that situation. And I'll get to that in a second. But really, he seems like the stupidest character because he's smart. He forgets everything. He doesn't know if he had a part in this crime or not. He can't tell you if he was late one day or late that day, and time is relative to him. And he just sounds like an idiot the whole time. And I really don't think that's how they meant for this movie to come off. So that's my opinion of that. I started wondering if we're going to get full detail about stuff. It keeps mentioning that it starts letting you know what you need to know along the way, and that's why another reason why it's a smart movie. It doesn't, let everything out of the bag at the end. It kind of goes piece by piece by piece and gives you information. So one of the pieces that they give you is Evanston, Illinois. 5 years ago, something happened, and they slowly let you know what happened there, but it's kind of obvious that that this guy is kind of a sexual predator, and he slept with a girl at that college. He got fired, or he had to resign, and so they moved out of the town because it kind of became a story that that he was under scrutiny there. So they moved. Him and his wife had to move. So that's the big reveal of Evanston, Illinois, and it's like an obvious thing the whole time. So it's not really that big a surprise. But I was wondering if we were going to get that, but they gave it to us slowly. So that's cool. So the main part of this movie is if he slept with this girl and killed her. That's what he's under investigation for. That's what the whole movie's about. Okay, let's get to that. So he says he's forgetful. When every time he's asked something about this crime, he says that, that he can't tell you what he, is the truth or not because he just doesn't remember. And that doesn't come to explain itself. He's just meant to be, this uncurable and nobody addressing the problem, really forgetful guy. And, he ends up having sex with these girls, but then his mind plays tricks on him that, he might have killed them or might not have, and he has scenes flashing in his head, and that's what gets you thrown off during this movie, is that you're led to believe that he does it. That's a different twist on movies. Usually you're led to believe somebody did it, but then somebody else, that you didn't suspect did it. This movie doesn't go that route. This movie goes the route of having one guy, one possible guy that could have done this crime. And the whole movie, it has to be him. We're just going to figure out how. Or, how can Pierce Brosnan prove that it was him, And it doesn't end up doing that at the end, and so it's really disappointing. So that's what the last thing to talk about is how stupid this movie really is. This is where I get to my real opinion, okay? This is one of the stupidest movies because it has to do what it freaking wants to do. This pisses me off to no end, watching movies like this. Gone Girl was better than expected. Didn't expect the ending, but it was all about the ending. The Girl on the Train, I don't know if anybody's seen that, but I bought it because I enjoy it, and I know what's coming at the end, but I forget every time I watch. It's great. That's what I want out of this movie, but this movie doesn't do that. This movie has no point the whole time because what ends up happening at the end, Pierce Brosnan has the big reveal, and okay, so this is what happens. Guy Pearce comes into his office and admits to the murder. This whole movie is leading up to the end, and Guy Pearce's character admits to doing it. You'd figure that'd be the end, right? Yeah, no. Pierce Brosnan says, here, look at this autopsy. She fell off a freaking cliff, died on impact. It wasn't you. Go home. You're free. Investigation over. He goes home, sort of admits to sleeping with some girls, says he will tell the truth to his wife in the future, The wife says, I'll think about it. The truth, huh? Okay. And we get shown that he slept with this other girl that's in his class during this whole movie again and almost killed her, but didn't. And that's the end of the movie. So this whole movie is if he killed this girl. He didn't. It was an accident. He thought he did, but he didn't. So he's free of charges. This whole movie has no point, and all the other little surprises that you were hoping were going to come and explanations were going to come, they all just don't matter. He's still married, still has his job, free of investigation. Everything's fine, right? End of movie. That's pathetic. To end a movie like this is pathetic. I hate that it was cool along the way because it has really cool camera angles. You have one person here and one person in a mirror over there. It's really cool stuff. Like, I enjoyed it the whole time. Then the last 10 minutes are garbage. And that garbage rules out the whole movie of any credibility because you're saying that he had no purpose of being talked about, but he's the point of the whole movie. I'm speechless. This is ridiculous. I give the lowest grade of D- for movies because I don't like giving Fs because I know what people do to make these movies, how much they pay an actor like Pierce Brosnan. So I can't give this movie an F. And I'll tell you what, the acting is tremendous. If you want to just watch it for that, go for it. And the camera work and the angles and the acting and the story and the suspense, they're all great. So I'll give this a D+. I really believed in it for an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes maybe. And then it's just rules itself out by being one of the worst movies I've ever seen because it has no point. So that's my rant. I'm done. I usually don't rant about movies, but I was just sitting here like, okay, this movie has no point if you are going to say that he didn't do it and everything else is fine, even though he's had sex with a bunch of girls and now he's still staying married and he still keeps his job. I'm like, no finalization of that at all. He could have had some justice and lost his job. I mean, come on. Okay. Thanks, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. I'm getting really close to my 200th movie review here on YouTube, so I really appreciate all my subscribers, all my viewers. Thank you so much. Give me a shout out in the comments if you have any opinion about anything I'm doing here. Otherwise, thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy movies.